My name is Camila. For 2 years, my world has been quiet hallways and the smell of lemon floor polish. While the city sleeps, I work. I clean the offices of Zenith Tech, a fancy glass building where people make more money in a day than I do in a month. I don't mind. There is a peace in the empty space. My vacuums hum, the squeak of my rag on glass, the soft thump of my trash bag in the bin. It's my own kind of music. I have a routine. Start on the 10th floor, work my way down. Every door is supposed to be locked by the time I arrive at 10 p.m., security's rule. But on the 7th floor, one door was always different. Room 707, Mr. Alden's office. His door was never locked. The first time I found it open, my heart jumped. I thought someone was inside. I peeked in, ready to apologize, but the room was dark and still. Just a big desk, a leather chair, and walls covered in books and framed photos of mountains. I closed the door and reported it to the night guard, Hank. He just grunted. "Old man Alden, he's been here forever. Forgetful. Just leave it. Clean it and turn off the light." So I did. Every night, room 707 was open. Cleaning it became my quiet moment. I'd dust his books, careful not to move anything. I'd look at the photos. One was of a younger Olden on a huge rock, smiling under a red sunset. He looked free. On his desk was a single worn-out coffee mug that said, "World's Okayest Grandpa." I always washed it gently, placed it back exactly where it was, the handle pointing towards the chair. Sometimes I'd talk to the empty room, just silly things. "Big meeting tomorrow, Mr. Alden? Better rest up." Or, "That mountain looks cold. That you were brave." I know it sounds strange, but in the silence of the night, with only the office ghosts for company, it felt less lonely. That open door felt like a small kindness, a tiny crack in the hard wall of this place. It was a silent agreement. He forgot to lock it. I kept his space spotless. For 2 years, it was the one constant in my long, dark shifts, a door that always welcomed me in. Then one Tuesday night, everything changed. I came to the 7th floor, my cart rattling behind me. I turned the corner to the hallway where room 707 sits. My mind was already there, thinking I'd tell Mr. Alden about the crazy raccoon I saw in the parking lot. But I stopped. The door was closed. That wasn't so strange. Sometimes it was pulled shut. I reached for the handle, my fingers expecting the usual give. They didn't find it. The brass knob was cold and firm in my hand. It didn't turn. I pushed. Nothing. I jiggled it. Still nothing. Locked. A cold feeling, like spilled ice water, trickled down my back. I leaned closer, checking. Yes, the little lock button on the handle was pushed in. It was definitely locked, for the first time in 2 years. My first thought was panic. Did I do something wrong last time? Did he find a book out of place? Did he finally notice someone was coming? I felt a hot shame, like I'd been caught sneaking, but I was just doing my job. Hank told me to. I hurried to the security office. Hank was eating a donut, watching a small TV. "Hank, room 707, it's locked." He wiped sugar from his mouth. So, he probably just locked it. But he never locks it. For 2 years, never. Something's wrong. Hank sighed, like I was a child bothering him. "Camila, people change routines. Maybe he lost something. Maybe corporate security finally got on his case. It's not a big deal. You skip it tonight. He'll probably forget again tomorrow." But I knew, deep in my bones, it was a big deal. That open door was a thread in the fabric of my nights. Now it was snipped. The rest of my shift felt wrong. The vacuum was louder, the shadows in the halls longer. I kept looking back at room 707's dark wood door. It looked like every other door now, closed, secret, keeping me out. The office felt colder that night, and for the first time in a long time, I felt truly alone. The door stayed locked the next night, and the night after that. A whole week passed. My routine felt broken. I'd still stop outside 707, my hand hovering near the knob, hoping, but it was always locked. I started cleaning it last, saving that hallway, clinging to a foolish hope. Then on the 8th night, I saw it, a sliver of white against the dark industrial carpet. A piece of paper, folded in half, was tucked under the door. My breath caught. I knelt down, my knees cracking. I pulled the note out slowly. It wasn't typed. It was written in shaky, looping handwriting with blue ink. To the kind soul who cleans my office. I had to lock the door. They are reviewing the security logs. They would question why my door was always open. They would question you. I did not want you to have any trouble. The mountain in the photo is Half Dome. I climbed it when I was 30. I keep the photo to remember I was once that brave. Thank you for taking care of my mug and my books. Robert. I read it 3 times, sitting right there on the cold floor. He knew. He knew I was here. He noticed how I cleaned. He wasn't forgetful at all. He'd left it open on purpose. For me? Or for himself? And now he locked it to protect me. Tears blurred the blue ink. They weren't sad tears. They were something else. For 2 years, I felt invisible in this building, a shadow pushing a mop. But Mr. Alden had seen me. He'd given me a gift, that open door, that tiny share of his space, and now he was protecting that gift. I wasn't just the night cleaner, I was the kind soul to Robert Alden. I pressed the note to my chest. The loneliness of the past week melted away, replaced by a warm, aching feeling. It was the feeling of being seen. I didn't know how to thank him. I couldn't just walk in during the day. I was the night girl. He was a day person, a man with photos of mountains on his wall. So I did the only thing I could think of. The next night, I brought something from home. It was scary, putting a piece of myself out there. What if he thought it was silly? What if security took it? I took out the note from my pocket, I'd been carrying it all day, and turned it over. On the back, I wrote in my neatest handwriting, "Dear Mr. Alden, thank you for the note and for the open door. It made the nights less dark. Half Dome looks like a king. You must have been very brave. You still are. Your night cleaner, Camila." I folded it small. Then from my bag, I took a small packet of hot chocolate mix, the good kind with little marshmallows. I slid the note and the packet under his door. My heart was pounding. The next night, I almost couldn't walk down the 7th floor hallway. What if he was angry? What if my note was gone, thrown away? The door was still locked, but as I got closer, I saw it. Inside, through the glass wall of his office, the desk lamp was on. It cast a soft, yellow pool of light, and in the very center of his big, empty desk was the "World's Okayest Grandpa" mug. Steam was curling gently from the top. He'd made the hot chocolate. He'd read my note, made the drink, and left the light on for me to see. It was a message without a single word. A message that said, "I'm here too. I see you. Thank you." I stood in the dark hallway looking at that warm circle of light, at the mug sitting proudly in the middle of his clean, polished desk. I didn't need to go in. The door didn't need to be open anymore. We had found a new way to leave it unlocked. I smiled, wiped my eyes, and went back to my cart. The hum of the vacuum that night didn't sound like noise. It sounded like a song. And I knew no matter how dark the night shift got, there was always a light on for me on the 7th floor.